Okay, today what we're going to talk about is how to divide fractions. So make sure you write this down, divide fractions. And when we divide fractions, before we can divide, we have to talk about something called the reciprocal, or sometimes we call it an inverse. So if I have 4 over 9, its reciprocal, or inverse, is 9 over 4. You just take the two numbers and you flip them. You switch the 9 and the 4. And when you do that, if you have 4 over 9 times 9 over 4, if you multiply them together, you get 36 over 36, which is 1. Okay, so if I have 1/2, the reciprocal, or the inverse, when I flip, so I'm going to flip, that would just be 2 over 1. If I have a number like -6 and 1/3, that one's a little bit different. To find the reciprocal, you have to take 3 times 6, which is 18, plus 1, so 19. You have -19 over 3. So its reciprocal, or inverse, would be -3 over 19, because if I multiply them, when you multiply this, you get positive 57 over positive 57, because two negatives make a positive, which is 1. Okay, so those are reciprocals, or inverses. So now, if I want to divide fractions, okay, so when we divide, we find something called a quotient. So if you see this word quotient, remember that means divide. When I divide fractions, I have, let's say, 1/9 divided by 5/12. What I have to do is something I have to, basically the rule is to multiply by the inverse, or the reciprocal. So I keep 1 over 9. I change this to times, and then I have to flip the second one. And then I multiply across. 1 times 12 is 12. 9 times 5 is 45. And then I have to simplify that one. Reduce, I can divide by 3. So I get 4 over 15. Okay, let's try another one. If I have 5 over 8 divided by -3/4. So to divide, I keep the 5 over 8. I change the division to times, and I have to flip the second one. So this becomes -4 over 3. And then I multiply across. So I get -20 over 24. And I can reduce that by 4, I think. So it gives me -5 over 6. Okay, one more. Let's try -4 and 2/3 divided by 3 and 1/9. This one is a little bit harder, because before I can do anything, I need to change these. I'm going to change both of these. So that's 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So -14 over 3 divided by 27 plus 1, so 28 over 9. Now, I gotta go one more step. I'm gonna keep the first one, so -14 over 3 times, if I flip this one around, I would get 9 over 28. And then I gotta figure out what that equals. So, 14 times 9 is 126, but it's going to be negative 126 over 28 times 3 is 84. This one I have to reduce a lot. So negative 14 times 9 was negative 126, and 3 times 28 is 84. But this one I have to reduce a lot. I'm going to divide by 2, and if I divide by 2, I get 126 divided by 2 is 63, and 84 divided by 2 is 42. Okay, and the 63 is negative. Don't forget that negative because there's a negative, so one negative stays negative. Now what I can do is change this one. Actually, I wonder if I can divide by 3. Let's see. 63 divided by 3 is 21. 42 divided by 3, whoops, clear, by 3 is 14. Okay. So I can keep going on this one. I get, if I divide by 3, I get negative 21 over 14. Then if I divide by 7, I get negative 3 over 2, which I can leave that as the answer, or that would be negative 1 1/2. Okay, that's it.